Coming up, there's a new boss in town. Join us as we dissect Sam Raimi's new movie, Send Help. Stay tuned.
You ever hunt? I think I like it.
Welcome to the Morgue, where we dissect the latest and greatest in the world of entertainment. I am your host, Arturo Padilla, and with me always is Mr. Nick Valdez. Before we get started, do not forget to subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and hit that bell. That way you know when these videos are dropping. Tex, how you doing today, buddy?
Howdy, everybody. Howdy, Arturo. We've got a lot to talk about today with Send Help. Sam Raimi is back with a new horror thriller this January. There's a lot of pressure on it because we've had some good movies this January with Primate and The Bone Temple, but we didn't really see Mercy. Mercy was the other high-profile theatrical release.
So, I mean, if you want to call that high profile, sure. But
for what we've seen, we've been lucky. This is a better January than we've got.
Definitely dodged the bullet on that one, man.
Yes. And like that's all to say that we were hoping that Send Help would cap off like a good month. This has been a surprising month for horror, and this is a surprising movie. Sam Raimi, he's one of those directors who's not only known for his work in horror, but also his work in like genre and just like Hollywood in general. With like he's got the Evil Dead movies, of course, but then you've got Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then he will return years later with like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Mm-hmm. But he's also done like his own movies in general have been just wild, right? Like Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like, when it's kind of, you would probably say this better than me, Arturo, but like there's something like he's a horror director. And so there's something more interesting.
Yes.
Inherently that he's doing another horror movie, right?
Yes, 1000%. Sam Raimi in his core is an indie horror director on top of that too. Going way back to Evil Dead back in the 80s, Evil Dead 2, right? And then, you have Army of Darkness in the 90s. So he continues bringing all his practical stuff, all his awesome vision for all this quirky horror humor, all the way into today, right? And along the way, this man like made Spider-Man 2, one of the like best comic book movies ever. And then he comes back with Doctor Strange 2, and he's just very versatile. But at his core, it is this horror, right? And that is why they keep calling him for projects like Doctor Strange 2, right? And that's why they called him for Spider-Man, to see what he could bring to the table. Because his vision is so unique, and it's a unique, wild, but yet grounded point of view that this guy has, because he can make things happen with practical effects. And you can see that all throughout his journey in Hollywood and even before that in the indie circuit. But Sam Raimi is freaking awesome. And honestly, I think he delivered in this movie. I didn't know what to expect. It's been such a long time since we've seen an original Sam Raimi flick that I was just walking in here just expecting to see Sam Raimi, and we got that. Did we get enough of that, Tex? That is up to the audience, honestly. For me personally, I think we could have had a lot more Sam Raimi, especially for the 2-hour runtime that we get. I feel that we got some awesome stuff there, but we had opportunities to do a lot more. And I think that's where I stand with Send Help. How about you, Tex? How do you feel about Raimi and Send Help and your first impressions after this viewing?
Yeah, like just skimming off the top before even getting into details, before even getting into the full review, I do agree. Like it's an interesting movie, and I think that is kind of where I stick with it. Like I liked it, but I also don't know if I loved it, and that is kind of where I'm sitting. Where it's like I liked the experience of seeing it, but it's one of those cases where I really can't separate the film bro part of me versus like the here person trying to be critical, and for the buddies at home at the morgue of just like being open to being like, is this that kind of experience? Like, is this something I would straight up be like, oh, check this out? And I think because our reviews here at the Morgue are are geared towards that. We're geared towards recommending whether or not you buddies at home should actually see this thing. This is where I'm torn. And so I guess with that being said, let's get into it, Arturo. Let's go full in. We're gonna go full spoilers from here on out. That's kind of the only way to talk about it. It's a very, I guess from the top, the easiest thing to say is that it's a very like efficient movie,
Yeah.
right? Like it's Sam Raimi. A great thing about him in general too is that he also like he's taken that indie horror mindset to the mainstream, and part of that is delivering maximum within minimums, right?
Yes.
It's like, okay, let's have override costs be as little as possible, but do as much as we can with the time allotted, right? And his philosophy is always speed, but it's not necessarily like an overwhelming speed. Nothing really feels like it's moving too fast. But then, like, in this movie, for example, Linda Little, we're introduced to her. She's, an office worker. She's, been working very hard, but like ignored by her bosses. The boss that she had been working with to that point promised her a promotion and all that stuff. He dies. His son takes over. She gets ignored. And so not only that, but like on top of that, like bullied too. Like it's very like they really kind of hammer it on. Like it's not even like it's not underplayed. It's nothing like that. You're not looking at Linda being like, oh, maybe she's like, no, it's straight up like it's a bullying situation.
Yeah, it's straight up bullying.
Yeah. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And then, as part of that, as part of her being messed with, she gets put on a plane to China by the boss and with like him and all the executives, but they complicatedness. Point is, within like 10 minutes, they're on this deserted island that we see in the trailers, and it's her and the jerk boss with her, Dylan O'Brien, and Rachel McAdams is Linda Little just surviving this island. And it turns out that she was trying to apply for Survivor. She was she's been reading all types of survival tools and kits and all sorts of stuff like that, and has become like a big she's really good at this. And it turns out this is kind of what she's been waiting for her whole life. And that's sort of the theme of the movie, right? It's like Linda's finding this new version of herself out there.
Absolutely. And I really like the fact that you brought up how efficient Raimi is because, as you mentioned, we get right to it. And just like his previous movies, like there is very little time that's wasted with fluff. And that's going all the way back to Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. There's just a lot going on all the time. There really is no stopping. And the pace here, as Tex was mentioning, does start quick, but then it does slow down when we get to the island in order to build up these two characters, which we're stuck pretty much for the entire movie with Dylan O'Brien's character and Rachel McAdams' character, just kind of building this relationship because they're complete opposites and they're always at odds with each other since the beginning of the movie. So it makes for a very interesting dynamic on the island. And this is what they have to kind of break through here on the island. This good versus bad relationship that they had in the beginning of the movie. As we go through this journey on this island, we see them get a little closer and then get a little bit away from each other. But we always have this ebb and flow with them all throughout the movie. And that's where the majority of the time is spent. As I mentioned before, I wish there was a lot more action there, but I mean, it's a deserted island in the middle of Thailand or something. So there's not much going on there. So the boar action that we get is expanded. It's exaggerated on top of that because of the fact that there aren't many opportunities to kind of showcase Raimi's flair for the gore and the blood. And there's only a few scenes here that really kind of do that. And the boar scene is one of them. And we get some more scenes later on in the movie that we'll talk about. But there is not a lot in the middle of that. Like after you get the boar scene, it's a real slowdown in terms of action, but it's all exposition and character building stuff up until the later action parts, which we'll talk about later. But that is my gripe with this movie, Tex.
Because when you see the trailer for this, you see the trailer for Send Help, and it's very like, it looks very bloody, it looks intense. There's a lot of close-up shots, and you get that in the movie, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of the Sam Raimi tricks. He loves zoom ins on eyes. He loves faces, and
Yes.
like but at the same time, there's no director who's as good at like framing a face. So like, shout out to him. He knows what he likes and he's good at it, right?
Yep.
But
Agreed.
like on top of that, yeah, you see all this stuff in the trailers and you think that it's going to be like this intense through the entire movie.
Yeah.
You think the dynamic between Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien is going to be that intense throughout the movie. And the unfortunate thing is that Arturo's right. Like, while it's efficient in its story, this is wild to say, because usually we're like, oh, when something, like when a movie feels like it's too long, that's usually a way of saying, oh, maybe it wasn't as efficient in what it needed to do, or it kind of wasted time here when it didn't really feel like that wasted time led to anything. And that's usually what it means, right? When you're like, oh, when something feels slow, it feels like it's either padded or it was a character moment that fell flat, so it felt unnecessary, something like that. But here, when it feels slower here, it's not exactly like an efficiency issue, because this movie
Correct.
still is like 90 minutes. It's a tight 90 minutes. And in those slower moments, it's hard to like actually think, oh, what could he have done here? Like what could have been added to make something flow faster? Because it's weird, right? It's like
Yeah.
it feels tight, but then you do get these slow character moments that feel slow, but then still feel like they're tight within the overall package. And that's why it's
Yeah.
hard to like kind of like critique this as as a, the, like I said, the film bro side of me is like, oh, cinema and how it's made and all that stuff. But no, like breaking it down, it's more like, it's like,
Yeah.
no, it didn't really feel like it wasted time. It just felt like it took a while. And that's
Yeah. No,
hard to
no,
describe, right?
you're absolutely right on that. Absolutely right. 100%. It is also the nature of the narrative, right? They're on
Right.
like a deserted island pretty much. So you feel the slowness of this island a little bit, but Raimi still gets away with just like doing a lot of stuff in terms of having Rachel McAdams immediately start doing stuff, right? It's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
we're slow here, but let's have her doing stuff, not like crazy action stuff. Let's start showing what she can do, right? Her
Yes.
survival skills and all this
Yes.
stuff. So that's what we get a lot of. We get a lot of her just showcasing, hey, that she can live here, she can thrive here, and you start getting the semblance of like, wait a minute, she's thriving here a bit too much. She's kind of enjoying it. And this is where the little twist of the story starts kicking in, where it's like,
Yes.
does she really want to get off this island? As opposed to Bradley, her boss, which is he's dying to get off this island. His leg was also, I'm not sure if it was broken, but he had a serious leg injury, which kept him pretty much off his feet for a good chunk of the time at the beginning of their island stay there. So he was incapacitated for a lot of times. And he was dependent on Linda pretty much the entire time there. If not for Linda, he would have been dead. And Linda has no problem reminding him of this. Like, hey, we're not in the office anymore. Things are
Yeah.
different here. You can't boss me around. If you guys have seen the trailer, you know that even on the island, he's trying to do his bullshit and
Yeah.
she's not taking it. So that's where we're at here. And that's where this crazy ebb and flow and this dynamic, this back
That's
and
where
forth starts.
the horror elements kick in,
Mhm.
right? It's the fact that Linda Little is transforming on this island into
Yes.
someone, and her boss is recognizing that, and he's
Yes.
also realizing that, he might have had power over her in the world, but like on this island, it's not exactly the whole thing. And that's where it starts to get super interesting. And that's where like that's unfortunate, while we say like, oh, it doesn't feel like that intensity is there the whole time. And that's because it isn't. It's when the two of them are at odds, but also like they are still kind of like at odds in that kind of like officey way. Funny
Yeah.
enough, like this is
Yeah.
still like office dynamics kind of thing, right? Where it's like they're not it's very, very passive aggressive, very like, oh, this meeting could have been an email kind of vibes that when you're
Yeah,
talking to
very
somebody.
HR friendly kind of
Yeah,
aggression, right?
yeah, and there's and it starts to turn a little bit when Linda gets more aggressive or he gets more aggressive, and like that's where it gets super interesting, and it's just there's not enough of that tension in the movie, because they get along too much. Maybe that's the whole thing at one point. But
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
like the point I'm trying to make is like, while the action set pieces may not be there, it's really just like Arturo said, it's really just the boar fight and then one towards the end. While those set pieces aren't there, this film is really held up by the main two, and mostly Rachel McAdams. Like, let's be
Yes.
100% clear.
Let's
Like this
be
is
let's be honest here. Rachel McAdams does the majority of the heavy lifting in this movie, and rightly so. She's super talented, and here she has a chance to showcase exactly what she's all about.
right.
And she shines all throughout, honestly. It's great to see how her character evolves from the first minute we see her inside the actual office to um the point on the island where she's just thriving and just like loving every single minute of it. And it's awesome also how her character just in appearance evolves too. Like once like she starts as like just it's very like like frumpy kind of like office look going on. And then on the island, she starts getting this glow about her and looking, as gorgeous as Rachel McAdams is, right? And it's awesome how Raimi did that because that kind of shows how her character just needed a different kind of environment to succeed.
Yeah.
And she wasn't succeeding at all in this office. She lost the promotion to Bradley's friend Donovan, who's like their golf buddies and frat buddies. He's been in the company only 6 months. She's been there for years. So,
Yeah.
she's completely down on her luck because she was promised this promotion by Bradley's father before he passed away. And, Bradley's like, whatever, I'm doing it my way. So
Yeah.
it's really cool how her dynamic and how her appearance and her personality just developed throughout this movie.
It's real 9 to 5 Dolly Parton taken to the extreme
Yes.
of like, yo, I've got a terrible boss who I work way harder than. I'll show him a thing or two, and that's kind of it. Like this is kind of like that the movie, and I think that's the thing, right? Is that I wish there were more of that like revenge
Yeah,
aspect.
like the
I
tit
think
for
that's
tat
what it
kind of
is.
thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
because we
when
do
we
get that. You're absolutely right. Like
when
we do
yes,
get that. It's like, hey, I'm gonna do this to you. I'm gonna do this to you. It's like a spy versus spy kind of thing,
yeah,
right?
and it's fun. That's where like it gets super intense and fun, kind of in that way when they really are like taking shots at one another, trying to kill
Yes.
one another at one point, and
Yes.
like it gets super interesting because they go about it different ways, and then Linda, we see her get more extreme, but then her boss gets more extreme in response. So it's like that stuff is cool when it gets into the revenge fantasy. Like yes, it's one thing to be like anti-work and anti-med and anti-capitalist. It's like hell yeah, do all of that stuff, right? But it's like, but also it's like the movie really has fun when it goes through with it, right? When it's like it
Yes.
has,
Absolutely.
and that's especially true when we get to like the climax of the film itself and all that stuff. But this is all to say, like, I think that's what it is. It's the movie needed more of that energy because when you see
Yes.
the trailer, it's offering that energy, right? Like the trailer has a long scene where like, Dylan O'Brien's crying and all you see is his crying face and Rachel McAdams is, threatening him. And when you get to the scene in the movie itself, fantastic work. Like it's a great scene. Like it's just, because full spoilers is because he thinks he's being neutered by Rachel
Yeah, he
McAdams.
thinks he's being castrated, right?
Yeah,
And
like
it's super well done. And honestly, like Dylan O'Brien, I feel his him as an actor, like he really didn't really bring much to the table, but you're right about that scene. He does do that crying very well.
he's
Actually.
he's so yeah, because the whole
Yeah.
thing is that
I got to give him props for that.
because he's like paralyzed, but then also like yeah, he has to do so much, and then that's the Sam Raimi goodness of like
Yes.
framing the face of like there's so much that he has to do with his face, and he's like he's got to emote, and he's got to cry, and he's got to like scream, but he can't within that like this paralyzed state, and he's really good in that scene, and Rachel McAdams is also really villainous at that point too, but it's also and that's a fun dynamic too because it's like the more the movie explores that revenge aspect, it's more like there is a question of oh, who is the movie going to side with at one
Yeah.
point? Because yes, when you get introduced, Linda is clearly in the right. Her bosses are clearly terrible. Hilariously, they all get punished just as you would from like a horror movie, right? You kind of hope that jerks are punished, and in that sense, like all the jerks who made fun of her are punished in like these increasingly brutal ways, and like and when it comes to her boss, when it comes to Bradley, there's that question, right? There's that lingering question overhead is, oh, how is he going to be punished for what he's done to her? And you have that lingering overhead the entire movie, and that's why when it finally follows through on that, it gets super fun, right?
Yeah.
Like when it
Yeah.
gets to that climax.
Yes, agreed, 100%. That climax was very fun, as Tex mentioned, and getting there, um, and getting through the reveals also was quite the fun experience as well. But again, like this whole movie, that's my thing with this movie. That's my key word here for this movie. It's fun.
Yeah,
I had fun with this movie. I did feel it was a little too long, and like I said earlier in the show, it could have accomplished the same thing with maybe 10 or 15 minutes less of a runtime. But all that said, I don't know where I would cut that time,
yeah,
because that these slow moments on the island really help make these characters and really kind of give you the like they give you the competitors, right? Who are you gonna go for? Are you gonna go with Linda's side? Are you gonna go with Bradley's side? It's like, yeah, he was a jerk, but there's some things that develop that you're like, oh, wait a minute,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's like
And the same thing with Linda. Yeah.
it's the same thing, right? Where it's like, yes, he's terrible, but Linda has such extreme responses to things
Yes.
that you're also like, whoa, okay,
Yeah, it's like,
and
okay, exactly.
so
Yes, great
when
point.
and that's the thing, right? It's like, oh, okay, like it does make you question like that whole like, oh, is she going too far with some of those things? But then
Mhm.
also it's like when the two finally clash, it's rewarding because it's like, oh, it's not clear exactly who is there's no like it's very gray in that like who's
Yeah.
in the right, quote unquote. But of course, like it's Linda, and like when the movie reminds you of this, it's like, oh yeah, of course, it's
It's
her
like, of
movie.
course, duh.
Yeah, yeah, like but it is fun to be in that headspace for a moment of like, oh, because you kind of don't know which way it's going to go for a bit, and in that sense, yeah, like it's very fun and explosive, and like it does pay off. I guess that would be capping off my end of things here. It's like I would
Yes.
say like it does pay off to the build up. It's an efficient thing, and like I guess like full on uh how we do it here at the Morgue, folks. We do, we have our rating scale here of pay for it, which is go out to the theaters immediately, go see it when it's digital, like see it as soon as you can. There's wait for it, which is, oh, you don't have to see it right away. You can wait for it to, maybe a second, the third weekend. You can wait for it to hit DVD or whatever. Whenever you see it, you'll be fine. And then there's stay away from it, which is self-explanatory. You don't need to see it at all, whatever, you're not missing it. So Arturo, I'm gonna pass it to you first. Pay for it, wait for it, or stay away from it.
I am gonna go with a pay for it. I think to end the month of January on this note is a very positive thing. It could have ended on mercy. It could, you know what I mean? It could have ended on a very negative note, but I think this movie is what Sam Raimi is all about, and I think him bringing an original idea back into theaters is exactly what the movies is for. A person like Sam Raimi who makes these wild ideas come to life and loves to show the fans what they want, the practical stuff a good story, a good time at the theaters. And I think this is what it accomplishes. It's no like Dune 2 or anything like that, but I think this is a very solid pay for it and a good time at the theater if you're looking for one at the end of the month. Tex, what say you, buddy?
So I've been waffling on this because, like I said from the beginning, it's been like I don't know if it's like a full recommendation. So I think, but you gave a really good argument here about like, oh yeah, it's an original movie, it is in theaters. So I've got to put the like if I'm putting the official like our Morgue stamp on it, yeah, pay for it. Like it's like a it's an original movie. It's an original like Raimi movie, and that's kind of like if you're a horror fan, just in
Yeah.
general, like you do kind of have to do your duty,
Yeah.
like
And
kind of
and
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 go
dude,
see the Sam Raimi movie. You know what I mean? Like
they're coming out, right? I know in the showing that you were at, you had a bunch of 30s and 40s. And the showing
yeah,
that I was at, the same thing, a bunch of dudes, 30s and 40s, you
yeah.
know?
So yeah, if you're honestly okay, that's the best way to say it. If you're exactly like me, Arturo,
Go
like
pay for it.
if you're in our bracket, like on our right in our pocket, dude, it's perfect for us. Like it's perfect for the buddies who are just like us, who are like, yo, if you're and I think that's exactly it. Just do your duty as a horror fan. Do your duty as a 30 to 40-year-old dude, and go see Rachel McAdams in like a good horror thriller. Because like, yo, that's the thing too, with Rachel McAdams, right? Like she'll like come back every couple of years and like come out like and be in a movie, and
Yeah.
you won't really see it coming that she's in a movie, but she's in it, and you're like, oh yeah, she's great. And I don't think I've ever been disappointed by something she's been in or
No,
have
no,
like
you're
pointed
right. No, no,
like
she's
I don't
solid, man.
and like she's been in bangers, she's been in Mean Girls, she's been in like the hot chick. Remember
The
the hot chick?
Notebook.
The Notebook. Like she's been in bangers and she chooses great scripts, she chooses great projects, and this is just another one that lets her continue to show off her range, right? And
Yeah.
I think if you want a good Rachel McAdams range, this is exactly it. Go do your duty as a 30 to 40-year-old dude.
Go do your duty, buddies out there. Go check out Sam Raimi's Send Help. Rachel McAdams is absolutely awesome in this movie. Carries the whole thing all the way and does not disappoint. That's also another reason why I think it's a pay for it. She's great in it, and her performance was awesome. And also, folks, don't forget we have all these episodes wherever you have your streaming coming from, your Apple Podcast, your Spotify stuff. We are still there. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share. Do not forget to check out our YouTube archive as well. We have all of our reviews and our coming attractions since we started putting these things on video. Go check them out. Go like them. Go subscribe. Go hit that bell. Folks, thank you so much for listening. This has been The Morgue, where we dissect the latest and greatest in the world of entertainment. I am your host, Arturo Padilla, and with me always is Mr. Nick Valdez. A big shout out goes to Delvirus for all the artwork in front of you, and a big shout out goes to you guys for listening. Lastly, folks, please, 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 always remember and never forget it is a scary world out there, but we are here to walk you through it.